A Letter of Instructions by Joseph Smith 3 Part 6, 23. Do the revelations point out with sufficient clearness that such a son is appointed by revelation as the proper one to be chosen and sustained as successor to his father having died in office while being sustained by the faith, confidence, and prayers of the Church? Yes, unless such action upon the part of the Church is prevented by revelation directing otherwise. 24. Or do such revelations require that such a person to succeed should be appointed or named by the incumbent prior to his death in order to justify the Church in making such person their choice of successor? In the absence of direct revelation otherwise, the Church would be justified in choosing and ordaining such a person to succeed a president removed by death under conditions named in the question. 25. Would the Church be justified in choosing and electing such a person under the direction of present and existing revelations, or does the spirit of revelation and wisdom in the various quorums and members of the priesthood sufficiently point out or designate such person as should be chosen to fill the vacancy in the presidency caused by death, without such previous designation being so made by the existing incumbent in the office of president? In the view of the subject thus presented, as shown by the precedent established in the choosing of a president of the Church in 1860, it would appear clear that the Church would be so justified, for the reason that the spirit of revelation and wisdom as manifested to the one chosen in 1860 and to the members and officers of the Church then in partial organization, there was sufficient coherence as to justify the action of the Church upon that occasion. There is now, as there was then, evidence of a supervising spirit working upon the different members of quorums and workers in the Church, pointing to such a consummation, should the occasion arise demanding action upon the part of the Church. 26 and 27. By whom should the nomination for the choosing and electing of a successor to fill the vacancy in the presidency by death at the conference meeting to choose such successor be made? Would such nomination be confined to the quorum of 12 in their capacity as a quorum under the provision of the law which says, "They shall regulate and set in order," etc., as found in section 104, on priesthood? When the conference has assembled and has been duly called to order, and the business properly stated, the common rule would permit any member of the assembly entitled to voice and vote to make such nomination, but a custom of courtesy having been established in the Church, a priority of privilege should be cheerfully accorded to the one holding highest office by ordination, and if there should be two or more holding office alike in this regard, seniority in point of age should be considered, and by common consent he be privileged to make such nomination. If, however, the question should have been considered in quorum capacity by the leading quorums of the Church and an agreement reached by such quorums as to the person to be nominated, it would be proper for such nomination to be presented by the quorum of 12 by the president of that quorum, by consent of the quorum or by some person to be named by them, either from among their own number or one from either of the quorums holding the Melchizedek priesthood. This course of procedure in nominating would prevent any disturbing question of right or priority from occurring, the end to be reached being the good of all and not the gratification of any personal self-interest.